Train disruptions continue to frustrate Singapore commuters in 2025. Authorities have stressed that there is no systemic failure in the train systems and have taken steps to prevent major incidents in the future. Claudia Lim looks back at a year of rail developments in Singapore.
Between June last year till this year, Singapore's rail network logged about 1.6 million train kilometres between delays of more than 5 minutes, the lowest since 2020. Authorities say this is still above the target, but it shows a year marked by several major disruptions. Here's a look at the incidents that had the most impact. Trouble surfaced as early as February, with several incidents recorded that month. There were more in July, but 6 August marked the turning point. A track point fault on the east-west line caused a major disruption, lasting several hours, crippling the morning commute for thousands. The fault was traced to a malfunctioning rail switch, the mechanism that allows trains to move from one track to another. Commuters were first told to expect about 15 minutes of extra travel time, but delays soon stretched well beyond 20 minutes as the issue persisted. Engineers eventually found damaged cables linked to the switch and had to replace them. Less than a week later, another major fault hit the network. A faulty voltage transformer at the Sengkang Depot intake substation caused a double fault, disrupting services on both the North-East line and the Sengkang-Punggol LRT for about 3 hours. LTA estimated that more than 50,000 commuters were affected. Between July and September alone, there were at least 15 disruptions, from power faults to track faults and signalling issues. The cluster of incidents led to the creation of a new rail reliability task force to review maintenance processes, probe systemic risk and prevent another spate of failures. Over the past few months, rail operators, SBS Transit and SMRT have been shining a spotlight on what they are doing to prevent such major incidents in the future. These include bringing forward renewal works as suggested by the Rail Reliability Task Force. The task force also convened an international panel of experts. They said that the Singapore system is on the right track, but also had ideas for improvements. Among them are longer planned shutdowns for renewal and maintenance. In response, Acting Transport Minister Jeffrey Seow said there will be more of such closures. Typically, maintenance happens during a short window in the middle of the night when trains are not in operation.
As our rail system ages, it will take more time and more resources to maintain the same level of reliability. And the One Transport family will do our best, will do our utmost to meet the expectations of our commuters. But we also hope for our commuters' understanding that even with the best of efforts, sometimes disruptions and delays will still happen, as they do everywhere in the world.
While commuters are upset by sudden disruptions, they say they are willing to bear the inconvenience of planned works if they lead to greater reliability.
I'm sure they are trying their best because the fact is, I think our MRT lines, in comparison to other countries now, we still have the newest trains. We also have a very professional team working on it.
Maintenance is good so that it won't always break down. Often, after some time should maintain, I believe. They are trying their best to give us a comfortable life.
In the meantime, authorities have made rail reliability data more transparent. The Land Transport Authority now publishes its report monthly instead of quarterly. It also reviews more, including how many commuters are affected in disruptions lasting over 30 minutes. LTA says by doing so, targeted improvements can be made to rail maintenance, operations and incident response. That's to best minimize the impact of rail disruptions on commuters. Even as efforts to improve move at full speed, one expert says current rail reliability remains decent despite the disruptions.
Singaporeans travel a lot. They are impressed frequently by the other metro systems they see in East Asia. They ask, why can't Singapore be more like that? But the reality is Singapore is actually very much comparable to Hong Kong and Japan, for example.
But he adds that there is some catching up to do with major Chinese cities and Taipei. He noted that Singapore has continued to invest in improving its rail reliability. The government has set aside $1 billion over the next 5 years to further strengthen rail capabilities, scale up technology adoption, and support upskilling.